Rolling.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to American Slacker Podcast with Matthew Gertz and Jesse Landers.
You'll see here the human male boasts the size of his testicles. I drive great when I'm blind. It's all about the sauce. Good, get him out of here. Get him out of here. Oh man, speaking of fucking, you want popcorn? I'll give you a popcorn kit. I'm just trying to go to Colorado and smoke some weed. Watch your fucking tots, huh? Those are my biscuits. Now, this is all alleged.
Welcome to American Slacker Podcast. As always, I'm Matt.
And I am Jesse, and today we are joined by our guest, Mike Teske.
Hey, how you doing? Mike Teske here. I'm from the 40 Going on 14 podcast.
Thanks for joining us, man. We're glad to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for asking me on, man. This is fun.
Oh, yeah.
Your podcast, it's an intriguing title. Can you give us sort of a synopsis as to what 40 Going on 14?
Well, 5 years ago, that's how long we've been doing it now. We just started crossing over into the 40s. My buddies and I, we all went to college together, and Pat and I were the first two to cross over into 40, and we always talked shit about doing something cool together. So I came up with this idea, and the four of us get together every week, and we take something that we liked when we were kids and compare it to a remake or a reboot or something now, or it's like a whole theme. Like our last week, we did Monty Python. We talked about liking Monty Python when we were in high school, college, and all this, the specials that have come out post 2000, because that's like our center line for it. We've done things like our very first show was Conan the Barbarian. We watched the original and then compared it to the remake. And then the week after next, we're recording the annual top 10 Billboard show, where we choose a year and then do the top 10 for 2019, whatever week we're in, to the week of like 1986 or 83 or something like that.
Okay, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've been doing it for a while. Like I said, 5 years. We just recorded show 268.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Oh, you got us beat. We're about
definitely.
halfway there.
One a week. So
There you go. And pretty consistently at those numbers.
yeah, it's nice because it's nice because we get to talk to each other. So like our warm up is like an hour of us just bitching about life, and then we get onto the show actually and start recording. So we've known each other for 25 years. So
Wow.
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Your guests or your hosts are scattered across the country.
Oh yeah,
as well.
yeah. We got Texas, 3 different locations in Illinois. So
wow.
but nobody's closer than 35, 40 miles. That's the closest we get. So,
Okay.
Oh.
Well, that's cool. It's a chance to sort of get that connection with your friends through digital, even if it's through digital media. I mean, me and Matt are the same way. We're across the country, and half the time our interactions are on Xbox, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's nice because it's like before we started doing this, we hardly ever talked to each other because life gets in the way. But now we know every Thursday night we're going to talk to each other. We all, break out a drink and just sit around and BS for a little while, just like we did when we were in college. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I gotta say, same with us. Yeah. Yeah. We would like fucking, go a month or two without talking, But the podcast, it's like we got to talk like every single day. We're like working on shit, keep it going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been a while.
Are there any favorite topics that come to mind that you guys have covered?
Let's see. We do movies a lot, so we'll do stuff, and we'll try to find stuff that coincides if there isn't like a specific remake. So we did like Goonies, and then did that up against Super 8.
Oh, okay.
See, it's a group of kids, all doing the adventure together.
Yep.
And then we did. We'll do like musicians and actors. So we did a Sigourney Weaver show. We did a Bill Murray show. So anybody whose career would span from when we were kids all the way to now, like Bill Murray.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or if something happens, like we did a Prince show because all of us are huge Prince fans. So we did that.
Oh, like a tribute. Yeah.
Yeah. It's we have a good time. We get a lot of little chatter on Facebook. We got guests that range everywhere from our buddy David out in Great Britain, who is this is crazy. He's a DJ, karaoke guy, and he also does balloon animals for parties. So,
Oh wow.
yeah,
Quite a range of skills.
I know he's got a thing. It's called it's Blue Waffle, and I'm like, dude, you are one shade off of being something really terrible.
Yeah,
But-
I was a little concerned when you started that.
yeah. So, but yeah, and then we have fans from New Zealand who call in also, and we get voicemails and that sort of thing. And we actually had the couple from Nikki from New Zealand came over and to the United States at a food tour once, and we actually met up with her in Chicago in Ravenswood to have her first slice of Chicago pizza.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah.
that's awesome.
That was pretty fun. So,
Yeah.
I'm yet to have Chicago pizza myself.
Oh,
I've never been to the Windy City.
yeah, you come on out. Just give me a buzz, man. I'll show you some of the best places. I've lived out here my whole life.
That's gonna be a tough one, man. We come from the other pizza place in America.
I know, but see, here you have a hard time lifting it. That's the thing.
Yeah, you get those heavy.
Our
Yeah.
deep dish is like that thick sometimes. So
Oh, that's what's up. I used to love deep dishes, but nowhere around here in upstate, like Albany, knows how to make them properly. Like
Right.
there's just
I have a
always
special
something off.
place in my heart for each type of pizza. I think.
yeah.
It can coexist for sure.
Yeah, we lived in my wife and I lived in Georgia for a little while, and you could not find a decent pizza or a hot dog place anywhere out
really?
there. And my friends actually for Christmas they FedExed me a Giordano's deep dish to our apartment down there. So I had this. It was kind of cool because I had pizza and then I had dry ice to play with too. So that was fun.
Oh, there you go.
Oh man, that's smart.
So they
Yep.
packed up a pizza on dry ice and
Mhm.
nailed it. That's funny.
That's friendship.
I've joked about that for California, because I do get my hankerings for New York pizza. But
Yep.
Yeah.
now I have a way of going about it. Now that you've said that.
Now, if you're out in Cali, I know that Portillo's, it's like the Chicago hot dog and beef place, is out there now. So if you ever
okay.
see a
I'll
place
have to
called
check that out.
Portillo's,
There's a lot of places that pretend like that. I wasn't impressed. I went to that Pinky's place in Cali. It's like West
Pink's.
Victorious.
Mm.
Yeah, and I was like, man, this is nothing on a New York like cart. You know?
Oh, for hot dogs, yeah.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed. Yeah.
I have to check out, what was it, Portillo's though?
Portillo's, yeah, go there and get yourself a combo. They take Italian beef, like a Italian bread roll,
Mhm.
throw an Italian sausage, grilled Italian sausage on there, and then they cover that with Italian beef, and then put provolone cheese on top of that, and then hot giardina on it.
Oh,
That does sound good.
Yeah, it's pretty tasty.
Now,
Oh, man.
now we have a trend of getting very off topic when it comes to food on this show. You get us down that rabbit
gonna
hole,
easily-
we just keep going.
It's
Yeah,
totally fine, man. I
easy.
love food.
you know our food.
So one thing I did want to touch on with you is you mentioned when we had chatted through, I believe it was on Reddit, Gen Con, which I had never heard of before talking.
Gen Con is the world's largest game convention. And
Okay.
when I say that, it originated in 1969. It was actually the creation of Gary Gygax, who is the guy, I don't know if you know the name, he's the guy who, with him and Dave Arneson, invented Dungeons and Dragons.
I was going to say, it did sound familiar.
Yeah, so he started that, and the reason it's called Gen Con is because when they first did it, it was actually at his house in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin.
Okay.
So it was the Geneva Convention. So,
There
and
you
it
go.
just got shortened to Gen Con. 3 years ago, they had the 50th anniversary of Gen Con out, and it's now in Indianapolis. They had 92,000 people show up over 4 days, and it was chaos. Yeah, an amazing, glorious costume chaos. It's
So it's part cosplay as well.
There's, you name it, it's there, man. There's cosplay, there's board games, card games, video games. They assemble like an old school video arcade in one of the convention halls. I mean, it takes up if you've ever been to Indy, this year it took up the entire convention hall, which I'm trying to think of something that I would be equivalent to out by you guys, but I can't. I don't know. But imagine like.
Well, I imagine it's pretty. That's
So-
pretty.
It's huge, and the Colts football stadium.
That predates Comic Cons too. The first Comic Con wasn't until like August 1970.
Yeah,
That's wild.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, this coming year will be my 22nd year going.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So it's a tradition to you. You want to go every year.
Well, kind of, and yes and no. Yes, it's a tradition. We always go to Gen Con. All the guys from the podcast get together because while we're there, we actually kind of work for them.
Okay.
We run something called Instant Game Show, and it's a mobile game show that travels around the convention center, and we get game companies will give us prizes. We get passes to the next year's convention from Gen Con. And we have them, we have trivia, physical challenges, all this kind of stuff that goes on. We just exist to give stuff away the entire time. So
that's awesome. Everyone must love you there.
Oh yeah, right. We have followers. We have followers that will hunt us down. We post where we're going to be on Twitter and on Facebook, and people will follow us around because like we give out a badge for next year's convention. They give us 10 of them to give out every year, and we do things like we call it the world's largest rock paper scissors, which it isn't, but Gen Con's largest. We had I think the count was 220 people playing rock, paper, scissors to win a free pass to Gen Con the next year.
Oh, wow.
And then that all boils down to we'll do that a couple times to cut down the group as much as we can. And then we'll do, it's actually ridiculous. We do simple, like grade school edition flashcards.
Okay.
And whoever gives the answer first, or if they get it wrong, we cut the group down more. But it boils down to the very last two people is a lip sync battle.
Nice.
Oh man,
they got to bring it. Then,
we've had everything. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like because you're with the public, you're not exactly sure what's going to happen. So you wind up with like we had one guy. Imagine a guy from Mayberry with the straw hat and the mustache, and he's wearing he's got the button down short sleeve shirt with the pens in the pocket, and he's wearing khaki Bermuda shorts and sandals. Okay, so you get that image in your head. So he gets down to the very end, and he's going to do a lip sync battle, and I'm going through the songs with him. I'm like, here's the tablet. You tell me what you can do. And he's like, this one. I'm like, not to be rude, but this one? He's like, yeah, no, I love this song, man. So he gets out there. He won hands down. So you've got this guy looks like he dropped out of Mayberry, did We're Not Gonna Take It by Twisted Sister.
Really?
Yeah, the video of it is on our Facebook page, on the Instant Game Show Facebook page, and he just tore it up. The crowd loved him. We have like a phone with a decibel meter on it, and we do for the applause meter and that sort of thing, and he just tore it up. And then on the other side, we had one guy who apparently didn't hear, because at the beginning we're like, look, you're going to do lip sync battle at the end, and we got to the end, and there's two guys, and we're like, all right, here's what we're going to do, and the guy just goes, I concede, and walked away. And we're like,
really? Like that was like his worst nightmare or something.
Yeah. I mean, and we turned to the other guy and we're like, you win. And he's like, can I still sing?
Now, did you make him still at least perform?
Oh, he wanted to.
Yeah.
He was like, I got myself all worked up for this. I'm not walking away from it. So
then it's an encore.
Oh yeah,
because you already won.
Oh yeah, he loved it.
Respect that. Yeah.
Yeah, but we've been doing that for 8 years with them. So it's fun. We've had some great companies sponsor us, like Cheap Ass Games and Slugfest Games, Cheap Ass Games, Gen Con, of course, and a bunch of other game companies sponsor us with prizes, and we just push their stuff. Hey, they're in booth 222. Go see them for more games.
Nice.
That's what I do on my that's my spring break, kind of.
That's a lot of fun. It's something to look forward to each year.
It really is. A lot of planning, though. A lot of planning.
Oh yeah, I bet. So it stays in the same location. That's the one nice thing, right?
It's nice. It used to be in Milwaukee, and back in like 2004, 2006, Gen Con left Milwaukee and moved to Indianapolis. And Indy's been a lot better because it's central. There's like one central convention center, and all the hotels are like around that. So you really can't get like too lost. If they had it in Chicago, it wouldn't work because the only place that would hold it would be like McCormick Center, and you have to take a bus to there, and that would just
chaotic.
It would be chaos. You have gamers all over the city not knowing where they are. The death toll would be ridiculous.
And I know I stayed in Indianapolis on my way out to California one night, and I noticed they kind of have like a highway system set up around the city that made it pretty
there's a circle.
to get around.
Yeah, it's really easy to get around. And yeah, the first year that we were in Indy, and we went to, we got there on Wednesday to start setting everything up, and we went to Steak and Shake and for dinner on Thursday night. Like, all right, cool, we're going to go to Steak and Shake, and we walk in the door, and there's nobody there. And we're like, there's like this year was like 60,000 people here, like, what's going on? And the manager comes over and he goes, we have no food. He's like, we are out of food. The first year that Gen Con was there, they were like, it's Steak and Shake. It's like, the manager's like, I got 4 50-foot trucks coming in from the warehouse right now to bring us food because you guys ate all of it. Because the thing is, it's nuts because Gen Con goes 24/7 for 4 days.
Damn.
So it's 24 hours a day for 4 days straight. And the guy
now are people playing like through this time? Is that why it's going 24 hours?
Oh yeah, it goes. I mean, you if you ever out there and you go on Twitter on a hashtag GenCon Pug PUG pickup game, say you're looking for a game, you're in this hotel, GenCon Pug, and literally within like 5-10 minutes, you found a group of strangers that you can sit down and just play a board game with or play a card game with. Gaming,
wild.
yeah,
That's
it
awesome.
goes on continually. But yeah, we went to it was funny because we went to the Steak and Shake and they were like, all right, well, dude, good luck, So and then are you familiar with the place called the Ram?
No.
It's like a burgers and brew type of place, but a little bit higher end.
Okay.
So we go in there, we get seated, and the waitress comes over and we're like, hey, could we get a thing of nachos? She goes, no. I'm like, oh God, what? She goes, we have no chips, we have no fries. She goes, we have no food. So this
What the hell?
they ran out of food too. And I'm like, well, what do you have? She's like, we have alcohol, we've got liquor, and we've got beer. And the only reason we have the beer is because we make it here. So we're like, all right. And then that night completely devolved almost immediately because like I got up to use the can and talk to the bartender. I'm like, hey, I was with 3 other guys. I'm like, hey, send 4 beers to that table. Another one of the guys got up to say hello to somebody, said to the bartender when they came by to those people, so basically the 3 of us split off, ordered 4 beers for the table, and then the guy at the table ordered 4 beers for all of us. So we come back, and there's like all these beers on the table, and he's just like, I don't know what happened. Everybody just started bringing us beer.
Oh man!
So then we started.
They started fucking multiplying.
I know. So then we did the only thing we could do. We had dice in our pockets, so we played 3-man.
There you go.
Oh man!
About time for some drinking games at that point. That's fantastic. Damn, it sounds like Gen Con's like a swarm of locusts coming through that. At least that year, are they more prepared?
Oh yeah.
Now?
Oh God, yeah.
This sort of come a couple of years in a row.
Yeah, they really are a lot more prepared. It wasn't open last year, but they had a Noodles and Company downtown, and during this time of the year, they are the #1 store in the nation for these this entire week. Because there's so much business continually. So, yeah. Last year they weren't open late. They normally would be like open till like midnight and be packed, and all the people that work there would have like I Survived Gen Con t-shirts and stuff. But yeah, India's been great to us. They really have.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now I've always been interested in I go and wander through some of the local game stores around here. I used to play Magic the Gathering. I still have a lot of my cards.
Right on.
No one will buy them, unfortunately. But and I know there's a lot of sort of politics behind Magic cards and like how they nerfed the value of certain cards over the course of years and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it also has kept it sustainable as a game itself. I've just been out of the loop for a while. What is going on these days? What's the big thing? Is it still Magic? Is Pokemon making another huge comeback? Or
Pokemon, not so much. What's board games have seen a resurgence in the last couple of years, where people really are enjoying these. The board games have gone from the quality of Sorry, where you get the cardboard board and all that, to God, my friend Josh, who's on my podcast. Have you ever heard of a game called Settlers of Catan?
That was the one that came to mind. I have a friend who's pretty hardcore into it. He loves it. He has little parties each week where people come and play.
It's crazy. I mean, that's one of the games that he plays where he's got I'm talking about the quality of the games. He has a Catan set that is in I think it's an oak chest, And all the pieces are made out of molded ceramic and hand painted, and it's crazy. But recently, some of the trends that we've been seeing in the games have been things like non-collectible card games. They're called deck building games, where there's a set group of cards that everybody draws from. So you start out the game with 3 cards, and you can like buy them off the deck as they play, and you basically create your deck while you're playing the game by buying cards from the main deck. One of the ones that I play is called Doomlands. How to put it? Post-Civil War Wild West, mix in a little bit of Cthulhu and Ghostbusters. So like
Cowboys and Aliens.
Cowboys and Aliens, yeah. Cowboys and Aliens with Cthulhu. Because you've got like Abraham Lincoln comes back from the dead, and he's like become a gunslinger, so he's running around with pistols, and it's also a role-playing game. But these deck building games have come back strong, really. There's another one that's very popular. It's called Netrunner. I forget who makes that one, but it's a cyberpunk type of Matrix game where you're playing, you're trying to hack into a system, and the company's trying to keep you from getting into the system. That originally started as a 2-player collectible card game back in 98. But back in 98. Well, it had a short-lived, but it was created by Richard Garfield, the same guy who made Magic. And then it got reborn as this deck building game. So what you can do is you can buy this box set, and you've got all the cards you need to play for like a 4-player game. So that's what's popular, is that you can buy a box of cards, you play it, and you don't have to go out and buy booster packs to keep your deck legit and that sort of thing, like with Magic. It's like getting around the DLC. Video. It really is. It is. So, but no, it's there's every year there's always like the game that comes out that people line up for and sells out within a minute. I'm a little bit more into going into the, I don't want to say discount section, but the older games. I look for something older, something I can play with my kids, something that they might enjoy. We play board games here all the time, and I got 2 gamer comic geeks for daughters, and they have I look for stuff that I can bring home. I usually will spend maybe $60-$100 on a board game and bring home one really nice one, or find like a whole bunch of little small ones that are well made.
We smoking America. We passing America. I'm mapping America. I'm second America.
A Non-Mom Happy Hour is the podcast that celebrates real-ass human women, whether they use their baby box or not. Hosted by Kelly Nerdzilla Mendenhall and Debbie Jo Nelson, a Non-Mom Happy Hour is a safe space to talk about mental health, trauma, disordered eating, surviving, and self-care. We talk about it all while laughing as much as possible, because if you don't laugh, you'll cry. Each week is a new episode, and every other week we interview badass women from around the US and the world. If you like to laugh, feel like you've never quite fit into most lady groups or podcasts because you're not a mom, or are a mom who needs a break from momming for an hour, you should come hang out with us. A Non-Mom Happy Hour, bringing healing through laughter and community. Streaming basically everywhere you could possibly want to find us. Remember, always be a real-ass human. To check out the podcast, visit anonmomhappyhour.com.
I've been looking for something, because there's so many out there.
Oh yeah.
As someone who's kind of on the outside of that world, you go in and you're just looking at all the titles, like not really having any idea, kind of even where to start. And people are usually helpful at the stores in terms of like trying to help guide.
Yeah, and I think it's funny.
A little intimidating in a way.
It is intimidating, because you go into a game store, I want to say like the game section at Target or anything like that, but you go into a game store and it does seem intimidating because the people that hang out there tend to know this stuff. But there's always seems to be this misnomer of, the gamers we don't want people invading our space. That's not true. We want more and more gamers to join us, because the more gamers join us, the better the games get. You know? Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like there's a lot of games out there now because gaming has kind of become mainstream. And now we're seeing all these, that these companies are saying, wow, we can really dump money into the development of a good game, and people will buy it because it's good. And
it's probably one of those few times you get to actually sit down and interact with people face to face too.
It is. My Josh just picked up a game not too long ago called Gloomhaven, which is kind of a role playing game. Do you guys remember Hero Quest when you were kids?
No. What was that?
It was like you open it up. It was kind of like a role playing game, except you had a character, you had little figurines in there, and you have the map that you would build as it told you to build it.
I never saw that.
I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that where you build yourself the city and you play the game that way. But he loves it. That's one he's been playing for a while now. And and that's the thing is like if you go pick up these games, talk to the people behind the counter and find out what it is that, come there with an idea of what kind of game you like, and they'll help you find it. Because if you're going to be dropping $60 on a game, you don't want to be like, well, crap, I don't like it. And a lot of times you go to the store and be like, hey, I heard about this game. Can you demo it for me? I mean, because when I used to work for Wizards of the Coast back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and we would demo games all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, people would come in, hey, I want to know how this game plays. Well, let's open it up and play it. I'll play a quick round so that way you don't get home and not like it,
Yeah.
It's cool to have that kind of attention to quality, I guess, in terms of like the sales and service.
Yeah.
And you see that a lot more because these are very like local places generally.
Yeah, they LGS, the local game store is what the general is the acronym for it, but like you said, these are usually places that are owned by like one guy who just really likes gaming and they want to get more people in. That's the thing that always drives me nuts because it's like, they don't want people in their stores. Yes, we want people in the stores because then you buy stuff and then we can keep the store running. It's business. Yeah. But yeah, so like games that you guys play, I'm assuming like Cards Against Humanity. You've played that.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Or Apples to Apples.
Yeah.
Similar ones.
That sort of things.
Yeah.
And there's those are like the party games, and there's the card games, and you have like the strategy games that I'm kind of a fan of those. I have one, it's a Lord of the Rings, the War of the Ring game, and it takes like 20 minutes just to set the board up.
Oh wow!
And it's got like 500 pieces, man. It's a great game. Wow. It takes a long time. It's gorgeous. It really is. But it's just one of those where if you're gonna.
So it's more of like a Monopoly Risk kind of time frame.
Imagine Risk squared type of thing.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's
Risk,
wild. Yeah,
yeah. We play Risk, and there's times if you like Risk, try Axis and Allies.
Okay.
Because that's like a World War II capture the territory game. If you want to go from that, from Axis and Allies, and you want something more strategic, you can go to Diplomacy.
Okay.
Now, imagine Diplomacy is a war game with no dice. Where it's like if Matt, you want to move, let's say you're Germany and you want to move through Italy, and Jesse's holding on to Italy, and you say to me, okay, I want you to support me in moving through Italy, and we all make these deals and move the pieces. Moving the pieces only takes like 5 minutes. We move them all around the board. You have your little battles, and then you make deals, and then everybody starts breaking the deals, and eventually you all hate each other.
Sounds like game night.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But it's a great game. It's just you really got to know the people you're playing with and how they react. So
well, that's really cool.
Wild. Yeah.
So what kind of games do you guys play?
We're big video game players.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the
when
most
I'm
part.
with people and play like board games, like I gotta say, it's like that generic basic shit. Like it's always like Monopoly. Sorry. Just the typical like board games. Everybody wants to play Cards Against Humanity, and I'm over that.
Yeah. It's.
I've always enjoyed Risk and strategy.
I played that as a kid.
Oh, playing Risk.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun back in the day.
Yeah, we play Risk sometimes. Let's see, we do Cards Against Humanity normally when we're just hanging out, just sitting around. It's not like a big, we totally have to play it type of thing, but it's fun to play when we're hanging out. We also played one last year called Secret Hitler.
What is this?
All right.
You got to figure out who's Hitler.
Yeah. Well, it's
that guy with the mustache looks real suspicious.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's him, but it kind of looks like him. No, it's like everybody plays portions of the government. So you have the fascists and you've got the liberals. So, and what you have to do is somebody is Hitler, but you don't expose who you are, and you're trying to convince all the other players. So the fascists know who the other fascists are, and the liberals know who the other liberals are, and you're trying to figure out who is Hitler, and he's trying to pass 3 fascist bills or 3 fascist rules through the game. Now the thing is, the rules, whoever is the president, I forget what the term is, whoever that is gets moved. It moves around the circle. So let's say Jesse, you're the president this turn, and you're a liberal, but then you draw whatever the rules are, whatever bills you have to pass, and you get 3 fascist ones off the deck.
Okay.
Well, you have to pass one of them. You can't redraw. Okay. So now you're like, okay, well, I have to pass this fascist one, but I'm actually a liberal. Now everyone's going, all right, I think he's Hitler. He passed that fascist one. So you're trying to like mask who you are type of thing. And then you can guess and be like, I think I got this down. I think he's Hitler. And then whether you're right or wrong. And, it's fun. It's kind of like it's a bluffing game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but it's fun. It really is. It is a good time.
It sounds like a fun one.
Yeah. It's another one of those where you can't exactly walk into Target and ask for it. They kind of give it a side eye on that sort of thing.
Secret Hitler. That's gonna get management called real quick.
Oh yeah. They're like, yeah, he's in the back. Just follow me.
Oh God.
So the names are definitely out there. I mean, it'd be fun. It's something I definitely want to branch out on or into, I should say, because I've walked in, and browsed the game sections and just like ended up walking out with nothing. But if there was something that was like a 2-player game, what would you suggest? Because a lot of times, it's just myself and my girlfriend kind of hanging out at home looking for.
There's one called Welcome to the Dungeon.
Okay.
And that one
isn't a bedroom game.
No. I mean, in all honesty, any game could be. It depends on how you play it. Except Secret Hitler. Don't be doing that. That's kind of weird.
It'd get awkward.
Not saying I have experience in that. Just trust me.
Okay. Take your word on that.
But yeah, the Welcome to the Dungeon. You're playing heroes going into the dungeon. You flip the cards to fight the monsters. That's a good 2-player game. Let's see, another one that works really well 2-player.
Because I guess the thing that always catches me is like, oh, is it gonna be me versus the one other person,
right?
Versus like something that's compelled by like, I guess, is it like some sort of plot that's happening to the characters as the game goes along?
No, it's pretty much a strategy. That's really what it is. Now, if you're looking for a good game just for 2 players, there's one called I had to look it up because the name Tekinoko.
Okay.
And in this game, you're playing you're taking care of a bamboo field, and there's the gardener, and then there's the panda, and you have different goals that you're trying to get. You start out with the pond in the middle, and you have to put little hexes of bamboo, which are different colors all around the outside of it. Okay. You have to make sure they're irrigated and just little putting down tiles and that sort of thing. But you can draw a goal card, and it may be that the panda has to eat 3 pieces of the green bamboo. Mm-hmm. So you can do 3 things on your turn, which is place a tile, play an action card, or move the gardener or panda. Mm-hmm. So you want to move the panda to a green tile, and where he'll eat all or one of the bamboos that's on there, and you have to keep him moving around so you eat all 3 of them. And it's a good game, really simple to play.
Yeah, it sounds like a good sort of beginner start.
Yeah, it's simple, and the thing is, the quality on this game is really good. It's not a whatchamacallit. It's not a game that you're going to be like have to. Oh my God, I totally have to get strategy on this. I'm going to dig into it, sort of thing. It's one of those where you can casually play and enjoy learning how to play it while you're playing it, type of thing.
Cool.
So I'll send you guys a link about it later. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It seems like a game that's easy to like get somebody new into it.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
And I really enjoy like a 3-dimensional game with like the pieces that are intricate like that.
Yeah.
Adding the tiles.
And it's good quality too. Like the gardener, when I got it from my brother-in-law for Christmas this year, and I was expecting the gardener because it's like little painted pieces, and you get the painted pieces and they're always like derpy with one eye pointing in the wrong direction. No, the gardener in this one, I mean, it's really, his face is well painted, the panda is well painted, and there's like expansions you can get onto it that will give you some extra tiles and some extra rules and another piece. Nice. So it'll add, like, I think this one, the one expansion will add on like a female panda, and then you get the female panda and the male panda on the same square, and then you have the goal of making baby pandas.
There you go.
Baby pandas.
Oh, man.
So
it sounds like a more relaxed one rather than like conquering a continent.
Right. Yeah. It really is. It is, and but it's fun too. So yeah.
Now have you had experience in like the D&D realm as well?
I have been playing Dungeons and Dragons since 1979, 80. Like,
wow.
He's got a little bit of experience.
Fifth grade.
It's still a little bit.
Yeah.
Who got you into it originally?
My mom.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah. You heard about the original, the Red Box? Like they had
what's this?
The original Red Box was like a D&D basic rules. It had a book on how to play the game, some maps, some dice, little cutout figures, and that sort of thing. That was a lot of my friends. That's how we started playing, was from the Red Box. And then for Christmas one year, my mom got me the Red Box and the Monster Manual and I think the Dungeon Master's Guide. And because she saw them and she was like, all right, cool, so here, play this. So I started playing it, and I that's really how I met most of my friends, is through gaming.
Wow,
sitting at
that's awesome.
That one's a lot of fun. The D&D, it's gone through a lot of changes.
Yeah.
It's on 5th edition now. I think they call it D&D now. Skip 4th edition. 4th edition was terrible because it played almost like a video game where you could only use I could use this skill once every turn. It was basically the equivalent to pressing buttons. I can use this on my 4th turn. I roll the dice. So I can use this, Now, if you like that, there's also Pathfinder, which expands the world, because the 3rd edition of Dungeons and Dragons, they started a thing called the Open Gaming License, which allowed independent publishers to create worlds and create source books and that sort of thing for them. So from that,
that's good.
Yeah, it was nice, because then you have a lot more material. From there, Pathfinder came up, and Pathfinder is kind of like 3.5. It's kind of like a streamlined version of the Dungeons and Dragons 3.0 engine. And I've played that a lot. I have a lot of books from that. I actually just ran a game for my daughter and some of her friends with a game called Shadowrun.
Okay.
How to put it? Okay, you take The Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
You take Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
You take the movie Heist.
Okay.
And you put them in a blender, blend that up, and that's Shadowrun. So you have an elf with like a cyber deck that's hacking into the systems. At the same time, they're trying to break into the corporate office to steal the prototype of this one weapon.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, and the kids really got into it. I mean, it was my 15-year-old, and she had her friends out, and it was a simple milk run, real easy, and they just had to go and save someone's kid. But they got into it, and like one of the girls, who's real quiet, she's, they're all good kids, but they finish a fight, and they manage to knock out this orc, who's like 7.5 feet tall, has horns and all that, and like, all right, you managed to knock him unconscious. One of the kids got a great idea. Well, they're in a warehouse. We're going to swing the winch across and knock him out by hitting him with the winch. I'm like, cool, that works. I'm like, all right, he's unconscious. What do you do? And the little one girl, she goes, we're going to slit his throat. I'm like,
brutal.
What is that? Well, that got pretty intense pretty quick. And I'm like,
yeah, right? That escalated quick.
Exactly.
It's like kids Netflix to fucking kids only.
I know. And then it was like, hey, why don't you try tying him up? You're in a warehouse. There's rope. No, what if he wakes up and tries to kill us again? I'm like,
maybe he's just doing his job. Maybe we don't have to kill him.
Yeah, he was a guard in a warehouse. I mean, he was doing what they paid him to do, man. It's just
that's brutal.
Yeah. So
man.
We smoking America. We passing America. I'm mapping America. I'm second America.
Hey everyone, I'm John.
And I'm Jason. We invite you to listen to the Corner House Chronicles,
where we like to find and discuss interesting stories from around the globe.
We sample and review a different Michigan craft beer on each episode.
And we also feature a guest from time to time to share their stories with you.
You can find us at chcpodcast.com, where we have links to all of our social media pages,
as well as links to all your preferred podcast streaming platforms. It's kind of like overhearing a conversation that was meant for you.
It's just different enough.
Do you mostly DM?
I don't DM too often.
The games, or do you prefer more to play through the adventures, I guess?
I enjoy playing more than DMing. Just because I like coming up with all these crazy ass characters. The last Pathfinder game that I was in, my friend Patrick and I we'll get together and we'll come up with the background for the characters, which is a lot of the fun of playing the games. Is because it's not just like, I'm a fighter, what do? I fight. It's you write a backstory for them. So Pat and I got together and we came up with Bick Bicklewick and Fizz Fizzlewick, the two gnome brothers, who one was a wizard and had a familiar. Oh no, he was a sorcerer with a familiar of this like Burmese mountain dog that carried all his spells, and he would ride this dog around. And I was a gunslinger, so I had So I had these pistols, and I would fire off the pistols, and then have to roll whether or not it knocked me down because we were real small. It
blasts you right off your feet.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and that's it's fun coming up with these backgrounds because that way, when you come up, it's like if you just play I'm the fighter, there's not a lot to work from that. But if you build up a character like Fizz and Bick, they have a history. Where do they come from? Why is the sorcerer so? He has absolutely very thin, very gaunt. Why? Because he spent his whole time studying magic. And I'm this psycho brother of his that learned how to make guns and firing off guns and stuff. So we made a background for him. And what was cool about it is that you can write in stuff that the GM can actually use. So if you have an unanswered question from your past, well, if it fits into the scenario, the GM may introduce somebody who may know who this person was from your past.
Oh, nice.
And then you get a whole little side quest. I also made a character in Shadowrun, my most fun. His nickname was Mimic, because he was in Shadowrun. They have characters that are called adepts. So I had a physical adept. They have magic, but they can't chuck a fireball. So he had magic, and the magic would imprint on something. So he was a huge fan of Jackie Chan movies and would watch them over and over and over again. So his magic imprinted on the Jackie Chan movies, and it was almost like X-Men when you're in stress and your powers come out. Well, he winds up in the middle of a gang fight. His powers come out, which imprinted on Jackie Chan. So now this delivery guy could suddenly do all these crazy-ass Jackie Chan moves.
Fighting people with ladders.
Right, yeah, fight with ladders, running up their chests, that sort of thing. The catch
this choreography is too much for my mind.
It really... And the catch was, the way Shadowrun works is you can get these perks, but then you have to take negatives also. So, I took this perk that I could have these cool-ass Jackie Chan skills, but my negative was that I had a hero complex. So what that meant is if there was the princess is in peril, Mimic is going to jump in to save her. If there's someone gets shot at, Mimic's going to take the bullet. So the thing was, the joke on the game became see Mimic die every week on Shadowrun, because they had to res me all the time, because it was like, someone throws a knife at the girl that we're trying to rescue. I'm going to jump in front of the knife. I have to, because that's the way the character's played.
It's part of the character at that point.
Yeah, and then but then it gets pretty intense, because when Pat had a character. His name was Pretty Boy. He was a troll, horns, big gun, that sort of thing. He had all these amazing skills, and he took the negative of being terminal. So he had cancer.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And he role-played this troll who was just like, I'm just doing my thing till the cancer takes me. And he actually went out little thing, bug spirits in Shadowrun are super evil. Found a nest of them in Chicago. He wound up ending his character by strapping a nuke to his back and walking into the nest to set it off. And that's how Pretty Boy died.
Ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's just great.
I would be sad when my character died, but going out like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, and I'm not joking.
Heroic.
We played that game in 2002.
Oh, wow.
We remember, it's one of those things. You write these characters and you play them, and it's not like the Mazes and Monsters, like that Tom Hanks movie where everyone gets crazy about it. Nobody does that. I mean, that's ridiculous. But you play these characters and you get these quirks and these different sort of talents that they have, and you get into it, man. Because every week you find out what's going to happen next with your character, and that's what the fun of it is.
It's like you're creating a show.
Yeah, it really
for
is.
yourself that no one else is going to get to experience or see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Do you record, do you podcast any of these like playthroughs or anything, or is this more of a like personal time kind of?
It's a personal time kind of thing. We did a show on Magic for our podcast where I had everybody was here at my house and we played a game of Magic with each other. We hadn't played in like 20 years with each other because we all started playing Magic in year 1 and year 2.
Wow.
And yeah. So like 94, 93, we were all playing, and then I got married.
Yeah, it was
in
around 7th edition when I started to pick up cards in Odyssey, I think.
Wow. See, I don't even know what Odyssey is.
It's like the unglued deck, man.
Okay.
Deck.
Yeah, I got to play in one of the first unglued tournaments.
Really?
Yeah, those are wild. Yeah, I have a bunch of signed cards actually from like different like New York City players, like, from the big ass tournaments.
Nice. Yeah, I've got a few cards. I have too many cards.
So you guys broke out your decks and actually played some games on the show for that? Or?
Yeah, we actually played. Josh got a hold of some old school boosters, and we had a booster draft, and we played it here in my house, and we recorded ourselves playing, and then we played a game of Pathfinder one year at Gen Con, and posted that for the D&D Pathfinder because it's that D&D role playing game type of thing for the show. Right. That one was fun because we played with our friend Joe, we call him the killer DM because he always winds up killing one of us at one point or another.
You kind of have to be a little bit of a psycho to be a DM because
you really do.
So much. It's torturing the characters, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I will say this:
fun.
On the other side of it, there's some things that we've pulled off where the GM's just been like, you know what? Okay, I gotta give me a minute. I gotta think about this.
It's like I didn't think you'd let me flip through.
Well, that's partially how Mimic died.
Okay.
I was gone for a little while, so I had, I think it was maybe 3 weeks that I missed the game. So they were like, "Oh, Mimic's gone. What happened to Mimic?" Because I was part of this team. Well, they wind up on this run and they find Mimic's body laying on the docks, and they check him out and they see that he's he's got fangs. The thing is, in Shadowrun world, vampirism is actually caused by a virus, so you can catch vampirism, and you can't come back from it. It's, I don't say terminal, but you can't. There's no cure. Okay. Well, my friends see this. The team sees this. And they're like, "Oh man, he's got this virus. What are we going to do?" Now the reality of it is that my character was possessed by a demon, and that's why I had the fangs. Okay. So Josh had this, who was the GM for us at that time, had this whole plan where they're going to have this demon possessed Mimic, and I would flip from being demon possessed and regular back and forth during the game. And they had this whole thing planned out, Save Mimic's Soul game that was supposed to go over the next 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. Well, they're like, "Oh, he's got this virus. Well, we can't leave him like this." And one of the guys pops a grenade, puts it on my chest, and they all walk away.
What?
And we're like, okay.
Just naded your unconscious body?
Yeah, they just blew me up. So
we're the team, man.
Yeah, and I'm
the team.
And then, of course, Josh is like, "Well, there goes the next 4 weeks. I had all this shit written down. You blew it now." So they actually had to roll another character up for that one. And then he brought Mimic back because there was a company that hated us because we always run against them. Okay. And they wound up with portions of my body, cloned me, and turned me into like the Terminator.
Damn. It's like those daytime soap operas.
Yeah, it really was. It was. It's like
his evil twin.
You come around the corner and Mimic's standing there, and I'm like, wait a second. Why am I standing there? What happened? Oh, well, suddenly he punches through a wall type of thing. So now anytime Mimic would show up, they're like, "Oh shit, here we go." We gotta, because they just like mass produced him.
So, that's insane.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to get into D&D myself. I even tried to, draft up a little podcast thing. Maybe we can, do it in the future at some point.
Revitalize it.
We're actually starting up a game. Patrick has actually written an entire world.
Oh, wow.
I mean, like a full global map. He has, this is how detailed he gets. He has religions created for this thing. Like when you roll up your character, you can be either agnostic, you can be atheist, you can choose one of these religions. You choose one of these religions, you get perks from it. He's got probably 2 gig of stuff just written about this world that we're actually going to start playing soon. So we're all rolling up characters for it.
And you're doing that all over either Discord or Hangouts or something like that?
Yeah, I've actually never used Zoom, and this is pretty cool. So we may do this too.
Cool.
Zoom is nice.
We've been enjoying it.
Nice.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely be in touch for that. I know. I'm always down to.
Oh yeah.
Get more into that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you use Roll20? Just real quick question.
Roll20? Or
Roll20? It's the
20-sided dice roll. Well, each system uses its own individual type of dice. So if you play. If you play Dungeons and Dragons, you're going to use the D20, D4, D6, D12, and all those dice that you traditionally see for gaming. Mm-hmm. And the way that one runs is you have a target number. So you have a target number, you want to unlock the door. It's a difficulty of 7, and you have +3 in lock picking. So, then you'll roll that, and there you go. You see whether or not you can pick the lock. Nice. Shadowrun uses 6-sided dice. And a lot of them. So
I was talking about Roll20, the website. I was making sure I had to double check it. I had to double check it to make sure I was on the right website. But yeah, Roll20 is like a common website. Like we used it for when we were getting our
when we were trying to get that set up. Yeah.
It makes it easy, so you can use it to create your whole story and draft. I was just curious if you guys used it.
Yeah, it's a virtual. It's a virtual tabletop.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. We're it's one of the things we're talking about. We're talking about that. Yeah. There's one on Steam. There's a couple other ones that we've been thinking about. Roll20, but I know I completely when I was thinking about rules.
I was like, shit. I think I messed the name up. But no. It's definitely called Roll20, and a lot of people use it for different tabletop versions. Over online.
Cool you can do it virtually like that.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty sweet. It really is.
I'd definitely be into jumping into a little D&D quest again, Jesse.
Yeah. We dipped our toes in. We don't want to hold anyone back, but we're always down for something new.
Yeah. No, we're always welcome to new players.
Cool. And we can be one of those little cameo characters that gets killed off.
Yeah, show up once. And I've done that where that's one of the things when you're playing is like, hey, I have this NPC that's going to be on for 1 or 2 games. Can you just come in and run him?
Cool.
Play for 2 games and then just despair. Go on to whatever. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Call me Bruno Mars because I'll take a grenade for you, baby.
AKA Mimic, I guess, right?
Yeah. Fun stuff.
That's cool. It's this is all kind of new information that I've always been really interested in hearing more about. I hope our audience got a decent amount out of it as well.
Yeah.
So, what you guys said you dipped your toes into D&D once before? What did you try?
We were trying. We had talked. I put out on Reddit trying to find someone because since we've been doing podcasting for a while, I like the whole storytelling idea of D&D. I was like, this would fit great. There's a lot of real play D&D shows I listen to, even though I've never actually played it myself.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we found one person that we talked to for a while. And we were going to run some stuff with them, but it kind of fell through. But I think Roll20 was what we ended up using, right, Matt?
Yeah, we played a little bit of a trial thing real quick, right? And that's
they were just doing a quick one-shot type of thing. Mm-hmm. And we made up little character sheets. Matt, you were like a dragonborn monk, I think.
Nice.
Right? Yep. And I was a rogue tiefling, I think.
Oh, cool. Yeah, they've added some cool tieflings are a lot of fun to play because it's that sort of and we do the thing we're playing a tiefling. You walk into town. All right, roll the dice to see whether or not everybody runs away and comes back with torches to try to kill you.
Yeah, there's a lot of racial bias going on in the D&D world.
There's a little bit of that going on. If you look like a demon with flaming horns, from it. Yeah. I mean, everyone tries to kill you, but you can breathe fire, so that's kind of nice, you know.
Right.
Yep.
And like you were saying earlier, you know, the building of the backstories of the characters. I think that's what I got into most before we even like got to doing the one-shot playthrough type of thing, like just going through and being, oh, and this is why my character's like this, and oh, they have this little quirk to them, you know, that kind of thing. I definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's the fun. I mean, if you, I find that people that play D&D, you get the munchkins, which are like people who do the min-maxing. Oh, if I take only a 4 for my intelligence, I can get my strength up to above 20 or whatever. And it's like, all right, if that's how you want to play, that's how you want to play. Have a good time with it.
Then everyone's gonna have to open doors for you because you don't know how.
I think 4 is average, and I don't know, but there's they had one where a Shadowrun game where one of the guys actually played a mentally handicapped brother of one of the other characters.
Okay,
and that was some great dynamics on that one, because you had the older brother who was like, I have to take care of you. You are my brother. I can't, you know, I'm going to make sure you're okay type of thing. And then you have the younger brother who's just like, I want to be like my brother. And, you know, we'll like run into firefights or, you know, do stuff. So there was a kind of like rolled.
A dynamic that you have to then consider. In every situation you come across.
Yeah. And that's like you said, that's the fun about writing these characters is, you know, there's no real limit to what you can write.
Right.
Yeah. So. Yeah. It's better than a lot of the cinematic plots that are out there today.
Oh, yeah.
Movies you watch or TV shows even, you know?
Yeah. It is. It's fun.
And everyone's personality sort of comes into it too, it seems.
Yeah.
That's the other side of it, is that you do get the characters. I mean, everyone leans towards their, like Pat loves to play the big beefy, you know, fighter type of guy with, you know, then a troll with this huge sniper rifle type of thing. Josh has more of the intellectual characters, so he'll have like an inspector or like a witch hunter or a detective, and I'm just crazy pants with mine. Like I'm gonna be a dwarf that fires guns, you know. I'm gonna be this Jackie Chan character. Awesome. You know, there's more than once they're like, you know what, before we play this game, I want you to give me your character sheet and I want to see what the hell you have planned. So, but it's fun. It's a good time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, where would our audience be able to, you know, find more stuff from you? Listen to all your podcasts and all that.
Well, I mean, 40 Going on 14 is on iTunes, Blueberry, Stitcher, TalkShoe, and Podchaser, which is Podchaser's new. It's kind of like a IMDb for podcasts.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. You can go on there. You can get your own little like producer page, and people can go on, rate you, review you, and all your shows will RSS over. We also we record every Thursday night, so if you have comments you want to do it, get voicemails to us before then. And we're on Facebook. We post every Saturday, Saturday, Sunday, depending on how much time I have to edit. We have a backlog of 267 different shows that are up there right now, ranging from, you know, all sorts of movies. Our online is 40go14 at .com. You can find us there. We are usually 40go14 is you know, where you can find us. And there's if you and I'm just gonna say there's a couple shows on there that the Peter Pan show is probably the worst show we've ever done.
Well, everyone's got a worse show and everyone's got a best show. You know?
Well, this was amazing because let's see. Joel had only seen one of the movies. No, Joel hadn't seen either of the movies. We had Peter Pan, and then we had the live remake. He had no time. Something happened. He wasn't able to watch either movie. Josh and I have seen both the movies. Pat had seen half of one of the movies. Joel was clueless the entire time. Josh and I were trying to keep the conversation going, and Pat was actually going in for a colonoscopy the next day, so he had been drinking barium all day.
Oh,
so he was
up the insides.
I'm not lying. He recorded from the can, and he was.
Oh God,
we didn't know what was going on. Finally, about halfway through the first half, I'm like, all right, I'm done. And I just started pouring drinks and slamming drinks. I'm like, this is gonna be a shit show. Josh at the second half was like, I'm done. He started drinking. So by the end of it, 2 of us are drunk. Joel is completely clueless of what's going on. And Patrick is just not well at all.
Oh, my God.
So,
man.
Now I'm intrigued. Now I just want to hear that episode out of any.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it's fun. But like I said, we've been doing it. One of the things that we said when we first started recording was we're going to do it once a week. And we're not missing. And I think in 5 years, we've missed less than 10 shows.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Come hell or high water, we're recording.
Colonoscopy, you're recording.
We're just like, dude, you could have said something, man. We could have moved it to Friday.
Right?
Oh, my God.
So
definitely check out his podcast. Easy to get to. You'll find it. And thanks again, Mike, for joining us, man. It's been a lot of fun.
Thanks a lot for having me on.
Oh, man, anytime. We'll have to do this again. Maybe even get a game going and broadcast that somehow.
And if you guys are ever out in Chicago, give me a buzz. I'll show you some hot dogs and pizza, man.
Yeah, we can end this debate. Who's got the best dogs and pizza?
Right on. I'll take off the afternoon.
There you go.
All right. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And we love each and every one of you. And until next time, that's it.
There you go.
We smoking America. We passing America. I'm mapping America. I'm second America. We talking America. We blazing America. This is fucking America. We're second America.
This has been American Slacker Podcast. You can reach the show by searching American Slacker on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Reddit, or send them an email to americanslackerpodcast@gmail.com. You can download and rate American Slacker on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and all other podcast platforms. Visit the show's website, aspodcast.com, where you will find every episode, official merchandise, and links to their Patreon if you would like to support American Slacker.
We smoking America. We passing America. I'm mapping America. I'm second America.